Right, hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Bodybuilding and Business Podcast. My name is JJ Richards, I'm the host, and today I'm delighted to be joined by the man behind the FitX, Mr. Darren Nally. How's it going, Darren?
All right, mate, how are you? Thank you. Thanks for having me on. First guest, I'm honoured.
I know. Hopefully you'll be part of history. Like when this podcast is massive, we'll be like, remember the first ever podcast we did with Darren, and now your expo's massive, my podcast massive, and then we'll be able to remember this special momentous time.
Just hope so, yeah.
Absolutely. So firstly, I think it's quite important just to find out a little bit more about your background before we obviously talk about all the things that you've got planned this year. So a bit of an introduction into yourself, Darren, obviously how you got into the industry, etc.
Okay, mate. Yeah. I feel like I repeat myself a lot of these because I've done a few Insta lives and stuff this week, and
I've heard a few.
I'll have you. Oh God, I feel sorry for the viewers and having to listen. But yeah. So I'm normal. I'm a normal fella, mate, and like anyone else, I just kind of got into lifting weights because that's, whether you look at that superhero figure or whatever it is, as a lad growing up and starting to go out and stuff, you want to have a big chest and big arms, the normal stuff. I never got a big chest and big arms though, really, but I'm still trying. But I did various different things sport-wise, but quite a late developer in that, really. I wasn't really any good at all that at school. Got into the gym, probably normal, 15, 16, 17, didn't really know what I was doing. And then as time progressed and I kind of met people who did, the gym I was at the time, great gym. I actually still go back there now and again now. Well, obviously not now, but it's quite local to me. But no one competed from there. And I heard that there was this thing about competitive bodybuilding and stuff. And I kind of got to a point where no one was really inspiring me in that gym.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying I'm anything special at all, but I kind of felt like, yeah, I look all right. I think I could have a crack at this. So then I moved gyms. And suddenly then I was like a little small fish in a big pond, because then these lads were all like, what fucking hell? I was like, look at the size of him, look at the size of him. Yeah. And in that gym, a great prep coach of mine who actually prepped me in my last show, and he's actually one of our judges. A really, really good guy. I used to train with Darren Nally. He put on a show, which was an independent bodybuilding show just for members of that gym.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, it was brilliant. And not many people do that anymore, but it was ace because there was about 26 of us ended up competing. But everyone was prepping for the same show. Everyone was covered up. Everyone was like, no one wanted to show what they had off. And at the time, I was also working with Jason Corrick, who's kind of quite a famous guy, very, very good bodybuilder. So he started prepping me, and then, I moved over to Rich, but it was Rich's gym. And the plan was to do Naba Doncaster and all that kind of stuff. And my plan was just to not look shit on stage. As crazy as that sounds, I thought, no, I can't. I've got crap legs, crap arms. My chest's not too bad. My back's not too bad, but everything else is rubbish. But as I got nearer, as you know yourself, because you've done it, you start to think, wow, like, your body starts to change. And you had that old fashioned thing of, 12 weeks out, you might notice changes. Then when you get to like 8 weeks out, people around you start to notice changes. Then when you're kind of 3-4 weeks out, people just like, whoa, like, you don't normally see that level of body fat. So did that show, loved it, crushed my soul that I came fourth or something like that. So took a bit of time out, got back into it, and then, I competed 2 more times. So as myself, I have competed, I've done it. I've helped people prep this, that, and the other as well. I'm not saying I'm as good as a lot of the people out there, but I've had a crack. So more than anything, I'm a fan of that. And at the same time, probably a couple of years before that, was Body Power was starting up. So I used to go to Body Power and I queued up for Jay Cutler, for God, I remember that day, must have been 6+ hours for Jay Cutler, Kai Green. This was back when Body Power was huge.
Yeah.
And then what happened was, fast forward, I got a job over at Birmingham and I started training in a gym in Birmingham. And I then got inadvertently into one of the biggest feds in the UK. So I used to run backstage for one of the, I'll diplomatically say, I used to help run backstage in another federation. Let's say it that way. And I used to love it. So 20+ Saturdays or Sundays a year, I would run up and down the country, and I just loved it, and I was a fan of bodybuilding. So for me, that was amazing. And with that link with Body Power, I used to also drive around the athletes. So I had Kai Green, I had Brian Shaw, Donna Lynn Bailey, Rob Bailey, Alice McCarver, God bless him, was one of my favorites, an absolutely lovely gentleman. Flex Lewis, and I this is me pinching myself that I'm picking up, you know, Flex Lewis at 6 a.m. to do cardio, and then dropping Kai Green home at 11 o'clock at night, or picking him back up to train because he weirdly trains crazy hours through the night. So as a fan of bodybuilding, that's ultimately how it all came. And I suppose as time went on, I kind of had ideas of doing little things myself. I never thought I would put on a bodybuilding fed. I think there are people out there that think, oh, you know, he was maybe thinking about this for a long time. And it wasn't that case. I genuinely watched Body Power. And again, diplomatically, I've seen how it's changed.
Yeah.
And I remember looking after Animal. So Animal was always one of my favorite brands. So Evan Centopani, I was like a big fanboy of Evan Centopani. Yeah. And I met those guys, and every year I'd pick them up and got on really well. And Eric Schwartz, who used to run Animal, he's now with GAT. Lovely chap. And we spoke, and I said, like, you know, are you coming to Body Power this year? And he was like, oh, no, it's too expensive this year. I was like, oh, man. And we kind of got in the ins about saying how much it actually cost. And I thought, well, what if we did something that wasn't anywhere near that price point, that actually encouraged the brands to come? Because, you know, the outlay of these stands is crazy. Like, you know, and I'm quite naive at it, really. And, you know, it's my first time I've put one of these on. But when you look at the cost, and then you look at the cost of the athletes coming over and the freebies and the giveaways and all that kind of stuff. And as I say, I used to go to Animal. You used to do, you've probably been there yourself. You seem a lot younger than me though. So you used to get a kin, and it had a t-shirt in it and a bar and everything else. Yeah. I used to sell them for like $5.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, and I used to go and buy 2 or 3 of these things because you couldn't buy Animal clothing in the UK at the time. Like, we're going back now, 2011, 2012, 2013. And I suppose coincidentally over those years, I watched it change. I watched it become, no disrespect, like the Hodge twins and the Harrison twins, people like that, rather than the Jay Cutlers and the Fuads and you know, the people that I really aspire to you know, to want to be like or look up to or whatever else. So yeah, I kind of just asked Eric, and I said, would you be up for doing something? He said, yeah, man. He said, you've always looked after us. You know, it'd be definitely up for something. And I dropped the thought with a few people. And the plan was never to do bodybuilding fed. I genuinely thought that federation would come along with me. I genuinely thought that 2 or 3 feds would sign up because without kind of going into the ins and outs, these are businesses, and from a Body Power perspective, they make money, and you know, you buy space and you rent the stage and all that kind of stuff. But I changed it a little bit, and I said, well, actually, no, I want you there, and I kind of don't really want to charge a federation to come. I'll kind of give you that space on the basis that we'll sell tickets. So. But no one really wanted it, like from a bodybuilding federation point of view. And I suppose that was because I'm just a random fella that used to run around and do all the work in the back scenes, but or behind the scenes, sorry. But you know, I wasn't Body Power. It's a huge organization you're mucking around with there. So my plan was, don't put it anywhere near Body Power because it's suicide. You don't want to put it near Body Power because, you know, it's such a big organization, and don't put it even in the calendar, but also logistically, you know, geographically near it either. So I picked Liverpool. I've been to Liverpool a few times, nights out, love it, great city, very young city, load of gyms up there, big calling for it. Never had anything like this. And we thought, right, September and, you know, in Liverpool. So both away from Body Power. And that was the plan. And I genuinely thought one bodybuilding fed, a strongman event, and maybe some seminars and stuff, and that would be it. And it was one hall one day, and you know, 9 or 10 grand to hire the space. And then it became, well, actually, you need it the day before because you've got to set up. I was like, oh, okay. So then it becomes 20 grand, or the best part of with that. And then actually, no, we're going to go 3 days now because we've got too many things. And we launched the Strom Classic in association with Strom, obviously, because Rick was one of the first brands that jumped on board with us. And it's just grown, like, you know, and I think it's a combination of amazing brands that have just put their arms around each other. Like, Strom is one I'll talk about a lot because, you know, they support supplement needs, even though they could both say, well, no, actually, we're both selling the same thing. So we're going to be competitors. No, let's get together. Let's do it. You know, it's like the way I am with like the likes of NFM UK. Like, Suki's a great guy. He's got people who want to get on stage. I've got people who want to get on stage. So let's get them on stage together. Let's get them. It's the same audience, isn't it? So CMP were the first brand. Strom joined. They're our headline partner. Strom soon joined. They then told Supplement Needs. Explosive Ape, I had a bit of association with them back in the day when I was with that Fed, but he came to me. I never approached. I didn't want to approach any of that Fed's brands, by the way. I want to make that very clear. I didn't do that. I wanted to kind of stay away from that. But he came to me and he said, look, you were always nice for me. Like, you know, is there something we can do together? So Explosive came on board, you know, HR Labs, Insight Subs, Compact's been great from a female perspective because I ain't really got a clue. Like, you know, we used to watch the girls on stage and I had an idea of what stuff is, but Jazz knows the ins and outs of shoes and all the bits and pieces. So, and I think together we've come together and as a community, and then brands like yourself have jumped on board.
Yeah.
And from a price perspective, there are brands that have come to me who, because they can get a stand with us for 300 or 400 quid versus 2 or 3 grand, it allows those people to make money. But also with a lot of the brands, a lot of the bigger brands especially, I've said, look, I can give it you at this price on the basis that you give out free stuff.
Yeah.
Because I want it to be like it was when I went to Body Power in 2.9, 2.10, 2.11, 2.12. And I used to walk out. God, I used to get all that stuff. I used to go bodybuilding.com, walk around, t-shirts, the whole shebang. And by the price point I've gone with, I hope that will be the case.
Absolutely.
I know, for example, even our own tickets, our VIP tickets, you actually get more for your weekend VIP in terms of monetary value than the ticket costs.
Okay.
So it's kind of a no-brainer, you know, when you compete. So if you compete at FitXpo and the Strong Classic, you get the weekend access included. You don't have to pay for the ticket the following day as well. Plus you get a goodie bag, plus you get your t-shirt and all that kind of stuff as well. So, and that's kind of what we've done. And I had my little, and I've still got it on my phone in my notes, like 35 brands. That's my aim.
Yeah.
And then Ben Kuma and I met. He was from a general fitness background, really nice guy. He's going to be running our main stage from kind of guest speakers. And he said, oh man, you can't have 35 brands. You need at least 50. I was like, okay. And then I got to 60, then I got to 70, then I got to 80. I was like, wow, I don't know how I've done this. So all these brands have come on board, and I think I've just tried to be nice. I've tried to look after people. I haven't chased people for money. You know, with the gyms being closed, I haven't invoiced anyone for anything outstanding. I've asked for deposits, but that's it.
Yeah.
You know, same with tickets. When we've had to move twice, which we'll come on to, I'm sure, we've refunded straight away. Our bodybuilding shows, anyone that's registered that couldn't make the next date because we've had to move a couple, which has been a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. I've just refunded it. If they've wanted to refund, I've refunded it. That's the way to be. You know, I see a lot of groups and chatters about people, you know, not getting refunds for certain strongman shows and stuff going on. And for me, it's crackers, because the money should stay there in a pot until you need that money.
Absolutely.
And until you completely go. But yeah, fast forward to now, and we're in a place where we've got 10, 11 competitions ranging from bodybuilding, strongman, log and deadlift, calisthenics, MMA, CrossFit, model search, mass wrestling, just everything. And they'll all bring their own audience too.
Yeah.
But the original idea, mate, was, as I said, strongman bodybuilding, and actually this hub of activity, which I'm calling just the fitness class area.
Yeah.
And you can turn up with your kid, turn up with your wife, turn up with your partner, and just have a go at battle ropes, have a go at, have a go at CrossFit, have a go at yoga, have a go at breath, whatever it is. And you can try those things almost before you buy them, you know?
Good.
And that's it. And then surrounded by all these brands. So I've rambled on there quite a lot.
But... No, that's fine, because a lot of the stuff that you're talking about kind of correlates well with me, because you know, I've been competing since 2009, and you know, I was involved with the Body Power as a consumer. I missed the first one because I used to be in the military, so I had military commitment. So I attended the second one, and I've literally never missed a day of the Body Power since. And I go to all 3 days, make a weekend of it with a wife. You know, the worst thing about the Body Power is it always falls on my wife's birthday. So that was a true test whether we decided to get married, was if she was willing to commit her birthday to come to the Body Power, and thankfully she was, so I married her. But I know exactly what he's saying. So I remember the first early days of the Body Power, I'd get back to my hotel room, shoulders aching, I'd drop these bags off and I'd be going through them. I'm like, Jesus, I don't even remember picking this stuff up. Like people throwing it out in the audience, like the atmosphere was really good. And then the last couple of times, you know, it pains me to say it, because, you know, I still support, you know, UK bodybuilding as much as I can, but you're queuing up for an hour in a stagnant queue to type in your email address to a computer to get one free sample. And it's just, I understand from the business point of view of the brands, the importance of data capture and getting that email address, so obviously they can promote and sell. But there just needs to be a better way of doing that and capturing that data, but making it a little bit more of an atmosphere, because it's just dull and it's just flat when you go in there. Whereas it used to be really fun. The athletes would be, throwing out samples everywhere, and there'd be a bit more of an atmosphere. Whereas the last couple of times I've gone, it just seems really, really flat, I found.
It's big as well, isn't it? It's very big, and like I said, it's not for me to knock it, because you know what, they've done, they've got a lot more bloody money than I have. They've done well with it. The brand's rolled on, but I just think it grew. And the thing about FitXpo is, the Liverpool venue is a beautiful venue, like it really is. I know I keep going on about it, but it is. But it's so much smaller. It's 3 exhibition halls. Each hall has about 3,000 square meters. So to put that in comparison with Body Power, it's kind of probably anywhere between an 1/8 and a 1/10 of the size of Body Power.
Okay.
I went to SFN Expo in Scotland, feels like last September. It was probably the one before now, because it's all been mental. And I went there, and that felt like a more FitX type size. You could walk around it, like if I walked over to that side, it would take me 2 minutes that way, 4 minutes that way. It's not massive, but it just felt so much more intimate. It felt more family orientated. It felt like there was probably 10 staff rather than 50 staff in terms of actually working for the organization. It's me. It is me. So if someone messages on Instagram, it's me. It's just me. And then I've got my business partners who are Eamon, who I went to uni with. We did graphic design, so that's kind of coming useful.
Okay, yeah.
He lives in Ireland. I moved to Ireland. My mum and dad are from there, so we met him. We were very, very good friends. And then Rick from Strom has jumped on board as well. So between us, we run it. But in terms of the day to day, it's me. And therefore, I try and be personable with everyone. I often voice note people back. Now, I don't know whether that's professional or not, but for me, I just do, because
it's better.
I think
I voice note now because I can't type and text. Even like, all my clients, like now I voice note because it's more personable and it's just so much quicker, I find.
I think so. And because it's grown, and it's, honest to God, it's pinch me moment type of stuff. I never thought it would get this popular, but it has, and the following's increased and all that. But there's almost like, it does feel like a real community. And we've tried to do that by doing other stuff. Like we're doing Snowdon on 1st of May. We moved it from...
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. And that's not making me any money. I'm not doing this for money. It's going to cost me a lot of money, because everyone that comes will get a free t-shirt. Everyone that comes will get some goodies, hopefully. I'm going to go and get some goodie bags and stuff. Everyone that comes will be able to take part in this well-being seminar that we're going to hold either on the top, most likely halfway up. James Elliott, military man, actually is going to be helping with that, and Andrew Keeler and people like that. So but that day is just for, why not? Let's get out there, let's talk, let's celebrate being out and about and being allowed to be out and about, but also get together with some like-minded folk. And
absolutely,
like anyone who hasn't done Snowdon or Ben Nevis or any of these mountains, it's phenomenal. Whether you're into it or not, it's just such a amazing experience to do that. And then it's one for the bucket list, isn't it? You've climbed the it's the biggest peak in the UK and the biggest mountain in Scotland, Wales, and so and we've done Crayford Weights. We did a 2 world record attempts down there again for ambassadors and anyone that wanted to come. We've got various ones. I've been working the last couple of days speaking to gym owners about, once everything opens, we're going to go to that gym, we're going to go to that gym, we're going to really start that back up again.
Good.
Because what I found was, no disrespect to the pure gyms and the gym groups and stuff, but I was giving away free stuff for likes, and people weren't that bothered. Whereas you go to a bodybuilding or a strongman gym or a CrossFit box, and the passion of those people and the community aspect of those people, they're more likely to come to you when you compete, and you're going to get 4 or 5 lads from your gym coming to see you, as well as obviously your family. Whereas these other type gyms, no disrespect at all, but they're just not the same. The environment isn't the same. And I'm not generalizing there. It's a fact. I've done it. I've been around them all. I've done these gym tours, and the ones that were most successful were these gyms where there was 15 people in there on a Monday night.
But that's so true, because I can relate to that. My background before starting my business was I've worked in the corporate management world, in the fitness industry, and the loyalty of members and the community of members of that independent gym is far more than one of the larger corporate gyms. And I think it's important what you're doing, because I think what's lacking in the fitness industry is that collaboration. Like, it seems very catty in the fitness industry, and I hate it. Like, whether it's people calling other people out on social media because they've said X, Y, Z, or the bodybuilding fitness industry, in regards to the competitive side, is very catty.
Yeah.
You know, we're coming out the back end of that now, but you know, a few years ago, obviously, you know, we know what happened with, you know, the change of industries, etc., with the competitions. But it does seem that, you know, people aren't working together and collaborating together in regards to brands, federations. Like, there's enough people out there now to be able to give everybody a slice of the pie when it comes to the business. And I think people are just selfish and they want the whole pie, whereas actually there's enough to share between everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we're speaking to the Arnold because, you know, I mean, Rick's good friends with Eddie Hall anyway. He's trained with him a few times, stuff. He knows him. They're putting on an expo again with the same audience. So why not promote each other? You know, SFN Expo in Scotland, I'm talking to the owner of that because why the hell wouldn't you promote? Whereas, with all due respect, other people don't want to do that. And it's just a bit daft. You know, when I came out of Body Power every year, that was one of my favorite weekends of the year.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got a kid and that's the most important thing to me. Outside of that, my passion is the bodybuilding world. And don't get me wrong, I've done other stuff as well. I'm into running at the minute, actually. But you know, I love doing stuff like that. And when Body Power came around, I was counting down the days. And when I came out of it, I don't want to wait another year for that.
Yeah.
And as I said about changing the dates, because it's been such a headache and it is what it is. And I think looking back, as crazy as it is to say, you know, I wish this all never happened. But part of me is like, well, actually, I wouldn't have been ready for September for starters. September 2020 was our original. Yeah. I wouldn't have been ready for next month, 10th of April. No way. I'm only now kind of getting on top of stuff. And I know now I've got a few months to go forward in terms of, you know, getting the stands ordered and getting everything done and banners designed and all the nice stuff. What's actually going in the goodie bag type stuff to make sure those goodie bags are the bollocks, kind of thing. But yeah, no, as it was, I just didn't want to be logistically near the Arnolds because of a payday perspective. Because, you know, if you go and you're going to say to your missus, look, I'm off to FitXpo this weekend, and, you know, let's say average spend at an expo is about £100 for each consumer. By the time you bought, oh yeah, well, I'm being conservative, but, you know, if I think back to me, I'd always get at least a hoodie. I'd always get a tub of something. I'd always get at least 1 to 2 T-shirts. Then you have some food, a couple of drinks, and, you know, you've spent 150 quid. But then turn around to your wife and say, oh, by the way, I'm off to the Arnold next week as well. But I think as long as there's a couple of paydays in between them, then why the hell not? So
absolutely.
You know, and we've got 3 paydays before the Arnold, which is great. We'll hopefully be there as well. We'll support and promote them because that's the way it should be. And absolutely. I've actively said to people, I get people messaging me saying, oh, you know, there's a first timer show on this date, or what do you think I should do? And I'm like, then compete with them as well. Like, compete with us and then go and compete with them, or compete with them. You know, I don't go, oh, actually, no, compete with us as a first timers instead of going with them. No. Yeah. It's not about that. Just be nice to people and hopefully it comes back around. And that's the way I've been brought up. So hopefully it comes off. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm still panicking. I'm very worried. Every night is a sleepless night for me. I generally woke up about 2-3 in the morning, like, how many tickets have I sold? Get the reports.
Well, you've sold out with VIP, right?
VIP Sunday is gone. Yeah. So we've got VIP weekend, still a couple left. VIP Saturday, VIP Sunday, but the VIP really are VIP. And you know, I know we could have put X amount of number on these because they're more money. So from a business perspective, then let's just sell those VIP. But actually, if you've actually been to the place and you'll understand when you get there, you have access to this lounge. Like, and in that lounge, there will be donuts, there will be prep meals, like, you know, Ultraflex Rotherham, they've got a great brand there that do their food, NutriFast, and he's been so good with us. Such a lovely fella. And because they closed him down in lockdown and all that because he worked out of a gym, but it was a kitchen within a gym, for God's sake. Ridiculous council politics. And he gave all the food away and stuff. He's a really good guy. But yeah, they're going to be supplying prep meals for the VIP. Okay. What expo do you go to where you get effort? I'm not charging for that. Like, when you come to a VIP lounge, when do you ever just get free prep meals? Like, you know, and, you know, you've heard it here first. Not for everyone, by the way. They're limited. You know, it's not, people can't come in and just fill their cooler bag. But we're trying to really make it feel VIP. And obviously that therefore limits the numbers. You know what I mean? So all those things are little extras, you know?
Yeah, because I remember the VIP at Body Power. It started off really good and then it just kind of regress, and the point that you literally got in half an hour early on the last one, and it never made sense to me. So yeah, it's good that that VIP package is actually VIP, because people throw that around willy-nilly.
Yeah, and when we price pointed it originally, we were gonna, it was gonna come in at least 30 quid more than what it was. And then I thought, no, like it's year one, and if we ever do increase price, where do you go then?
Yeah.
But also, no, it's not like, for example, if you're Strom and you're giving me, I don't know, for argument's sake, X amount of tubs of, 6 serving tubs of whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying for it, then I'm not going to add that cost in, because it doesn't make sense. If I'm getting my clothing manufacturer and they're going to give me X amount of t-shirts free, then I'm not going to build that into the cost. Some would, but I won't. So yeah, you will walk away with value. So yeah, Sunday VIP is gone, which is fantastic for me. Loads of tickets though in terms of standard weekend and day tickets. Again, from a price point perspective, 38 quid is your standard weekend, 23.50 is your standard day. I mean, most bodybuilding shows alone are about 25 quid now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anywhere between 20 25 quid for a ticket is normal.
And like I said, those brands have been instructed to give out samples, get stuff going on. There'll be loads of deals there as well. Mystery boxes, all that kind of stuff. We'll have stuff ourselves. So, we'll be doing some really good deals ourselves, because we'll finally have FitX clothing and stuff. So at the minute, I've got sitting around loads of boxes of it here, but it's all being printed for me now. And explosive do all our stuff. So it's nice stuff.
Good.
So yeah, it's just become a whirlwind, mate, really.
I can imagine. So can you remember back to the time where you actually thought that this is an idea, but now I'm actually going to put this idea into an action? I know you said it was quite soon, but do you know the rough date or month of when you actually went, do you know what, actually, I'm going to push this forward? And was it quite, did you kind of procrastinate on an idea for a while, or did you just think, let's just do it?
So for probably 6 months or so, I was thinking, I put the idea to, friends I had in the federation I was with at the time, and I just used to say it and kind of fell on deaf ears a little bit, but it is what it is. I've had lots of little ideas and thought, but I've never really had the money or the balls to do it.
Yeah.
And it is true that money makes money. You need to have an amount.
Absolutely.
And I'm a normal guy, and I don't. Like, I genuinely don't. I'm a normal guy, family. I work full time. This is not my job. Like, I work full time. So I'm literally get home every night. I always, when I go to work, I'm furloughed at the minute, which is kind of suppose is a blessing. But that only happened on Friday. Like, I've been only literally Friday, which is very bizarre, because I haven't been furloughed for the whole of it. But yeah, I would plan a call in the morning, say 8:30 on the way to work, a call at night from 5 o'clock to a brand or whatever. And then I'll do emails on the night. I'll do things like this whenever I get a chance. And literally any given minute, I'm just, been messaging brands and this, that, and the other. But then it's organically grown. I think if I think back, that would have been in the early summer of the year before we were going to go. So September 2020. So it would have been 2019, early summer. Toyed with the idea. A friend of mine at work wanted to use me to launch a clothing brand. We chatted about that. We talked about what money we'd have to put in. And he said, really, I just want to, because you know what you're on about, he used to say to me, and I don't. He said, I've got the money, you do the idea. And I was like, right. And I was like, oh, do you really want to start a clothing brand at this point? Obviously we're not Gymshark. Gymsharks will peer.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of clothing brands work, the Monster Factories and the Bulletproofs, but then I've also seen a lot of brands that haven't worked. So it's one of them. You need to get the product on the right person and that. And the plan was, I suppose, well, if I'm picking up the likes of Rob and Dana Lynn and people like that, then actually if I could get this product on a couple of them. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. I then sent a message to one of my pals who is now Eamon, who's my business partner. Yeah. And he now, although we both did graphic design, and we were like really, really close, but you've got to think, we're going back. I'm 41 now. I'm old now. When I was at uni, what was it? I was 21, 22.
Yeah.
And no, there was no Facebook. There was none of that. I don't think I even had a mobile till I kind of finished uni. Like, as crazy as that sounds now, people listen to this. I genuinely remember getting my first mobile and I was at least 18, 19, 20. And now, like, my little boy's grabbing mine all the time to go on Roblox.
How old's the little boy?
He's 8, yeah. He's
okay,
8.
Yeah, I've got a 9-year-old, and Roblox is like the in thing at the moment.
Fortnite and Roblox.
Yeah.
And he's phenomenal at Fortnite. I don't know how the hell he does it. He destroys me on it all the time. But yeah, I think back then, so we had a chat. I then messaged Eamon saying, look, because although we're both in graphic design, he actually runs really successful fitness camps in Ireland. So he does weight loss plans. Not really so much even weight loss. He does a bit of that, but he's all very much about well-being, mindfulness, yoga. He's very into his kettlebells, his battle ropes, that kind of functional fitness stuff. Now, I don't really do a lot of that. I like just lifting up heavy things or having a crack, but I absolutely see the benefit in that. As I say, I'm running now. I do a lot of running and stuff as well. I kind of mix them both up. But I asked him, would you be up for coming across? I said, I can't really pay you, mate. I don't know how much we're going to yield from it, but would you do some generic fitness classes for me? Because I trust you to come out. I'll pay your hotel and your expenses. Yeah. And about 3 days later, he messaged me after saying yes. And he says, look, have you got a business plan for this? And I said, well, yeah, I kind of have, because I'd sat and I'd worked one out. He said, would you send it me? And I said, okay. So I sent it to him. And then the next day he rang me again. And I suppose because we trusted each other already, because we were very close when we were at uni, I remember doing all-nighters when we had projects back in the day. It was, in terms of we were all not drinking. We were up all night doing project work for the next day for our assistants and stuff. We did very little. As mad as it is, uni, I see people at uni now, but back in my day, it was just proper. The course I was on, it was proper graft. And I think it was just because the head lecturer was a bit of a dragon. But and we chatted and he said, would you need an investor? I was like, well, don't know. What do you reckon? And I think the number was about $5,000 at the time. I thought, yeah, well, looked at this venue, costs about $9,000 or $8,000 plus VAT for a day. So actually, yeah, we'll probably need this for a deposit. Well, yeah, but then I didn't plan in marketing. I didn't plan in this, didn't plan in that. So we built it in and we talked and then, he came on board and originally it was so many percent and stuff. And as it's grown, I suppose it's like Dragon's Den, isn't it? You see these people fighting over 1% or 2%.
Yeah.
When actually, and then you see them walk away with a tail between their legs because they didn't want to give away an extra 2%. Well, actually, I said, I suppose because I'm maybe naive and maybe a bit soft, but I said, look, I'd rather give you more.
Yeah.
Because you're helping me out and I can't do this without you. And he's like, no, and he's such a good guy. He was like, no, you don't need to give me more. And I said, no, I want to. So I've increased his share along the way, and to the point now where we're pretty much not far off half and half. Okay. Because although I do the work, I literally speak to Eamon every day. I voice note him 2-3 times a day, and then we generally do 2-3 phone calls a week because he gets it, and he doesn't get the bodybuilding work because he's never competed. He understands, the ins and outs of it, but Eamon's the kind of guy you go to when you've got pains in certain parts of your bodies. He's very, very good. And he's just, his mobility stuff and his knowledge is fantastic. And he can, he does all sorts of stuff, whereas ranges of motion and the muscular, the way your body's put together, he's very clever like that. Whereas I just, as I said, just lift weights up.
Yeah.
If I have a sore shoulder, I just kind of train through it and just crack on and take everything. Whereas he's like, no, you have to do this, you have to do this. But anyway, but I think that would have been probably, so the summer of 2019, put a deposit down very, very quickly. Then by the time CMP, Strom, whoever came on board, a rough floor plan of 35 brands, it's grown. It was like, actually, we'll probably need a bit more money. He then said, right, we're probably going to need another 10-15 grand on top of that. And then it's grown. And now it's kind of an eye-watering amount. Genuinely, if it happened tomorrow, what we need to do for it to happen tomorrow is in stupid figures. But at the same time, you can see how it can really, really work for us too if it does pull off.
Yeah.
We then, Rick and I got together from Strom about doing the Strom Classic because these feds didn't really want to have any interest, didn't really have any interest in us. NFM UK did, and they've been great all the way through, and we will work together at some point. It's just the clashes at the minute with dates. That's all. There's no other reason because we did announce them originally, but as time's gone on, it's grown into what it's grown into. Rick and I, we said we'll talk about doing the Strom Classic, but we wanted it very different. We wanted it to really feel like you're spoiled as an athlete. Same as principle as FitXpo.
Yeah.
And then people used to say to me, do you not miss the bodybuilding? Do you not miss going around the country? And I said, well, I don't miss being away from my family because I don't think people understand the work that goes in. Driving to the venue, you're getting there at 6-7 in the morning, setting up.
It's a long day.
Oh God, yeah.
Very long day.
When you go to a show and you see those trophies all aligned lovely in order, when you see the banners hung up, all that stuff was done. And I used to help do that stuff. That was what I did. And I did it because I loved it. And I don't regret a time of that. I know I don't really openly talk about what happened there because unfortunately we've parted ways.
Yeah.
Such is life. So we won't really go into that too much. But because it's not for me to say on here, that'll kind of come out. But But ultimately, I did miss it to a degree. And I thought, well, actually, we could maybe do something. A few brands were saying to me, would you be involved in would you want to do another show? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then I kind of put the idea in certain people's heads, like Mike and Leisha are two of our head judges.
Yeah.
Josh Maley's always been on board with us. And I thought, well, actually, bloody hell, we've got a cracking judging panel there. Looked up some venues, and I suppose we capitalized on Corona in a roundabout way because most people weren't booking venues. It's a hell of a stupid time to come up with a fair, isn't it, really? And book 8 venues. Bear in mind, like, our cheapest venue is about $3,500, like, in terms of a bodybuilding show. I competed. My first competition was in a town hall type thing, not a town hall, like a village hall type thing. These are like Leeds Town Hall, the BIC Bournemouth. I mean, this is a $5,500 venue. Like, you're going to be busting your balls for 14, 16, 18 weeks, and you're going to be able to showcase that on an amazing stage.
Good.
Because we didn't want to come out the traps with a half-ass venue. We wanted the best. We wanted the best judging panel. We wanted the best sponsors. We wanted the best lighting show. Everything about it, what needs to scream quality. So I'd rather do that 6 or 8 shows in a year and make them really strong than do more and try and water them down, because we just don't have the money for that many shows. So, Leeds is our first. So Leeds, 23rd of May. So if anyone's watching this,
11 weeks out. I did the maths today. I was thinking,
12. It was 12 Sunday gone. Yeah. So 11 and a half weeks. So, but you know what? When Boris announced what he announced on Monday, then the registration started to go up, and I was like, thank God.
Absolutely,
for that. Yeah. Because it's all well and good having a great venue, great judges, great everything else. But if you've only got one person per class, it's a bit embarrassing. So luckily, we've had quite a few people jump in so far. Plenty of space, though, obviously, for more. We want that to go off with a bang. And the difference with us is each of the shows, you will get a full sponsorship with each of the relevant brands.
Okay,
so,
wow.
Inside Supplements, first brand, and Emma Hyman, remember. So Emma Hyman, don't even know, you need to announce who she is. She's phenomenal. One of the best posing coaches in the world, let alone the UK, IFBB Pro. So you will get a full, male and female will get full Inside Supplements sponsorship. So that means Danny's going to actually do a video of that this week for me. Not 10% off, not 20% off, like full sponsorship. And then Emma Hyman as well will sponsor the male and female winners as well.
Okay,
so
that's really good.
Preparing them for the finals. And Emma's, rightly so. She's expensive, but she's rightly price pointed as well. So it's a hell of a monetary prize. When you add it up over the year, you're looking at, I think we did the math on it. It's over 15 to 18 grand's worth of prizes. Same with the Strom Classic, same with Cardiff Sports Nutrition Welsh. We're just waiting on the Welsh at the minute because it's 19th June, but we're just watching the gym situation. Yeah. One thing as well, JJ, what we won't do is just put on a show for the sake, and that's not a dig at anyone, by the way, on here. But we won't just put a show on because who wants to compete?
Well, you don't want to do a show outside in a gazebo or in a warehouse with nobody there?
They're all booked out. Yeah, I couldn't find one. mate, look, I'm not here to throw stones, but I think for that's just mental. If I'm going to prepare and not eat a carb for how long? I remember on my prep, mate, I was crying and dreaming of chocolate brownies and everything. And I don't want to do that and then stand outside.
Absolutely.
Nah. So at least with us, you'll stand on that stage. And yes, no, we don't have the IFBB Pro card. No, we don't. But we've got other options and we've got other things and other irons in the fire as well. We've got lots of plans down the line of what we become.
Because that's what I was going to ask. Because obviously, looking at the federations across the UK now, obviously UK BFF, not sure where that's going. You've obviously got Two Bros, that's the link into IFBB. Obviously PCA, that are obviously, they're quite big. They've got a big stamp in America and also South Africa now, and they've got the PCA Pro. Yeah. And then obviously NABA, they've got kind of that pinnacle, Mr. Universe. Yeah. So in regards to the Expo, what is your kind of future plans? Do you want to do qualifiers for like the British finals? Are you going to go down that route?
We've got a final. So yeah, secured a final date today. So I can't say it. We did release an idea of a date a while ago, and then two federations put theirs on exactly the same day. So so I'm not going to be stupid and just put it on.
That's not good for business.
That's just mental. So what we've done, we've got a secure date finals today. So there are at the minute 4 shows. I've got 2 dates now for September, October.
Yeah.
There's a finals in and around there as well. And then what we're going to do as well, which is a little bit different, we're going to actually have a show after the finals. And the reason for that is you get on stage, you get in shape, you get in your finals, whether you win or lose, whatever, you get on the final stage, but then you can drop into this qualifier for next year.
Yeah.
Especially if you fall short of the, qualifying straight through. So you don't win outright, whatever. So you have the opportunity then to compete for next year. So yeah, there is a finals at the end of this year. And that finals will have an international prize attached to it.
Okay.
But then the plan will be next year. We will be talking about doing our pro card and our pro league and everything else, and how to make that a bit more glitzy.
Yeah.
And you've got to dangle a carrot. You've got to make it, attractive. But that's not demeaning any of the Fed. Like, all the other Feds are great. And as I said quite clearly, I was with that Fed for a long time, helping them. And I learned a lot. And I'm just trying to take the positives and the negatives from all the shows I've been to in all the Feds I've ever seen. I've been to NABA shows, I've been to UKBFF shows, I've been to various Feds, IBFA, and I think I know as a competitor what feels right. And that's the plan, really. So from an international perspective, who knows? I mean, we might be thinking about stuff, but at the minute it's just so early to talk about any of that kind of stuff yet. So yeah, we've got big plans though. Definitely.
Good. So I think sometimes what people neglect and what's so important is just the small details that people forget. I've competed 15 times now across quite a few different federations, and I've competed with some federations when you don't even get like a medal. Like, it's kind of nice coming away from that show and having like a medal as like a keepsake from like, that work you've put in, something nice to show the kids and the grandkids one day.
Medals are ordered. Yes. So luckily I got a good relationship with them guys. I've known Mark for years. He does most of the Fed's medals, or has done in the past. So the medals are ordered. Trophy prototypes are being done. In fact, where is it? This fella. It's just a prototype at the minute.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just a bit different. It's chunky.
I'm kind of looking on my trophy cabinet, which is in front of me, just thinking where that would go.
But that's just a prototype at the minute. That's just a wooden one, but it's just
really, really smart. I like that. That looks
just
really
different,
cool.
Isn't it? And it's still on brand and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's really smart.
But yeah, we've got lots of different the stuff we're going to do, and I don't want to kind of say everything because what if people copy us? But little things like that are different. We're going to have a barber backstage at ours. Why not? Like, because do you know what? I used to see lads get on stage all the time. The girls used to come pristine, hair beautiful, nails beautiful, and then you see some lad turn up and he'd be like, "What's going on? Beautiful tan, everything's in shape, in shape, peeled out of his mind." But then he ain't even put no wax in his hair. We're like, "What are you doing?"
Hair like this.
There you go. Well,
lockdown hair. The hat is staying on.
This is longer than that, mate. But so we're gonna have a barber there doing fades and little tidy ups and stuff. And there's lots of other stuff back there as well that we just want to make you come out of it. We're going to have like Laz Gelsey, Mike and Leisha's does a lot of our videography.
Yeah.
And we've used Becca Andrews as well, who's been great. And he's so good. We use him most of the time. He is so good. But we're going to have it all done videography. So when you see the lead show, we want you to then watch that and go, shit, like, I need to be involved with these guys. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to really try our hardest at putting on something special. That's the plan.
Good. So in regards to future aspirations then, so obviously, if you kind of, end of the year, obviously FitXpo's been done, the first kind of competitions have been done. If you're kind of sat there, hopefully somewhere sunny with a beer, taking a big deep breath, like what would kind of success look like for you in regards to everything you've done? Like, what would you kind of be happy with in regards to the FitX and the branding this year?
Yeah, so obviously we want the Expo to be a great success. So we're doing everything in our power to make it that, but obviously we can only do that if people buy tickets. So at the minute they're going, I'm not panicking too much. They are selling now, but I would also really push for people to get their ticket. If you're definitely going, just get your ticket, because
absolutely, yeah.
Because the earlier the better helps us. The way I work it as well, JJ, is we're not going to just go, right, that's it now and rest on our laurels. If we get X amount in the pot, then we'll go, right, who else can we get? We've announced 26 athletes so far. We've got Alexei Novikov, world's strongest man. The first world's strongest man. It's the first time he'll be over on British soil this year. We've got Fuad, we've got Justin Compton, we've got Jose Raymond, we've got John Hodgson, Josh Maley, we've got Big Lars, we've got Tom Stoltman. We've got some cracking, athletes coming. We're going to be setting world records. Rhiannon Lovelace is phenomenal, and pound for pound strongest woman on the planet. She's going to be doing some world records. We've got Donna Moore potentially doing a Stones world record. Reese Forward currently is going to go for a squat world record.
Okay.
We've got the GBC Pro, which I forgot to mention that earlier as well. Biggest prize pot in Europe for a, from a powerlifting point of view. So I think to have a success for the expo, we've already booked 2022. It's already done.
Nice.
Yeah, that's already in the calendar, so it's done. So we haven't announced it, but we've done and deposits down and all that stuff. So we know we're going to roll into year 2. So it'd be nice to think that year 2 will not just kind of get a little bit better. How expos and venues and events, whether it's Comic-Con or whatever show you've been to in the past, the motorcycle show, whatever, they generally don't just go up a little bit. They generally kind of double, get bigger and bigger. You know that through body power. So I'd like to think that, first one out of the way and it's been a success. Second one booked in, that we run these 7-8 bodybuilding shows and people go, well, these are good. Like these are really, really good. These are definitely going to be one of the best feds in the UK, one of. We've already got dates for 2022 booked in as well, because again, I struck while the iron was hot. Like if I'm booking in with, Northampton, for example, for the Compact Classic, we've already booked in the following years, because why not? Because it's a better contract to have a 2-year rolling contract than get one and then try and find a space, because it's been such a logistical nightmare to try and book in again at some places. And with people being on furlough, the events industry has been smashed. So at least with this, we know where we are. But then in addition, the community days, the charity days, for me, I've done a lot of charity work myself. I've always been into that, because when I lost my dad, I kind of signed up. I've done the London to Paris cycle. I've done the London Marathon. I've done Great North Run 3 times. I've done various things. I'm actually thinking stupidly of signing up for something a bit crazy in October, because one of our guest speakers, I only spoke to him the other day, Josh, he's just absolutely, I just got tingles when I was chatting to him. He's basically got cystic fibrosis, and he was told as a child he'll live to 20. Then he was told he'll live to 25. He's 32. He does ultra marathons. He's done barefoot marathons. He's done. The guy's just a legend, and he's launching something in October, which hasn't been done before. It's the first weighted marathon. And it's going to be in the Brecon Beacons in Wales. And I'm running now, and I'm kind of just 3-4 nights a week, just keeping tidy. I'm kind of doing a bit of weights here as well, but I'm dieting as well and tidying up a little bit, because I've got to try and at least look the part. And but
you've got to walk around the expo, remember, with like your shirt on and the
on.
VIP tag back to front. That's the expo look now.
That's the look, innit? Yeah. Maybe we will. I've never thought that, because I wonder, because people did, didn't they? They used to get in shape for it. I wonder if that'll happen with us. It'd be nice. But there'll be certainly a lot of brands to pick them up anyway. But yeah, I think the community days, the charity days are really important, because I think if you've got a platform, and I didn't have a platform when I did the London Marathon, it was just me at work, and I still ended up raising a load of money because I'm just cheeky, and I was doing car washes and pub quizzes and all sorts of stuff. But the plan is there'll be a strength event as well, like an independent strength event. I want a CrossFit independent event, but also the plan is a thing called FitXpos. That's an exclusive, bit cheesy, FitXpos.
No, I like it.
But because Eamon's so into his retreats, that's what he does. We're going to kind of tie them in together. So they're going to be a bit different though. One is going to be very much like your typical retreat, yoga, really clean, healthy eating food, sunset walks, mindfulness. But then the other one is going to be a retreat for bodybuilders and strength athletes.
Wow.
Where you come away and we look after you, and you maybe stay 1 night, maybe stay 2 nights, but you will be trained by the best. You will have seminars by the best. You will eat the best. And you'll learn a lot in that. So it's kind of aimed at those kind of bodybuilders, strength athletes who've got a bit of disposable income, that they can either go away without kind of feeling, because I did that. Like, I'm not going to spend on a holiday. I'm on the kids. I'm going to go away and do this. It's a little bit. Whereas the bodybuilder who's all about bodybuilding, all about strength and everything else, I think there's a market for that. So
absolutely, I've got a wife and 2 kids, and I would for sure love to do something like that and be a part of that, especially like in the early days. So I think again, it's that collaboration aspect as well, because sometimes bodybuilding can be quite a lonely sport. Where I am, I'm based in Chippenham in Wiltshire, and there's maybe 1 or 2 other people that actually compete. You're not always surrounded by like-minded people, and you usually stand out in a small city or town. So I think to be able to find a place where you can, and that's what I used to love about Body Power, and I used to go to shows because I've always worked in the corporate fitness industry, and I've always been really the only person that's competed in that gym. So it's people always asking me questions and always coming to me, and it was always nice to be in an atmosphere or an environment where everybody was like-minded like me. You know, I wasn't the strange one sat there eating my chicken and rice out of Tupperware. I was in a place where that was just the norm. So yeah, I think doing a community gathering where everyone would be able to go together, collaborate, you know, plan future, especially now with social media. You know, collaboration is massive for social media. So by people having a community to be able to do that would be unbelievable. I think no one's doing that.
No, and then from an international point of view, you know, I don't want to kind of run before we can walk, but obviously I've got the connection with Ireland because I live there. Eamon's from there. There's always a room for something there. But then also, what could we do that makes it attractive for our athletes to compete elsewhere? Because we're going to be announcing like an international prize. Originally, it was going to be this thing with FUAD where they can compete in Canada, but obviously because of the IFBB link, let's just say that's been scuppered a little bit.
Absolutely.
Not FUAD's fault whatsoever. It's just, it is what it is. So we're going to offer something a little bit different that's still international, but actually we are in talks with potentially doing something abroad ourselves as well.
Okay.
Again, it's very early days. It'll kind of be a point where if we can get everything in line, we'll kind of launch these things at the expo, because why not, while you're at the expo, launch these things, you know?
Absolutely, You've got the market there for it, so you may as well market to them.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's just the ideas and kind of the graphics are done up for it, and even if it's just gauging people's interest. So, for example, with the Fit Escapes, you know, over that weekend, we're going to have that face-to-face with people. How many people would actually be up for it, or is it just a stupid idea I've had? Because I have a lot of ideas, but some of them are a bit stupid.
It sounds like you're really ambitious. Is that something that you've always had? Have you always kind of, you know, rather than just doing it, most people would just do a bodybuilding show. You're like, no, I'm doing an expo. I'm doing this amount of shows. We're going international. Have you always been really ambitious?
Not really. I mean, not really. I'm a normal
I think you're
guy,
being
mate.
modest.
No, mate. Honestly, I'm 41, so it's a long time coming. I've always had lots of ideas, and I always said that if I had the money to do something, I could do it because my ideas are good. But I've never had that. And then, you know, you're asking people for a ton of money. I never asked Eamon for anything. And that's the brilliant thing about it. He just went, well, look, Daz, I've had a look at it, and I don't think that'll even touch the sides, mate. So how about I'll give you this? And we see how it goes. And then I think as it's grown with momentum, and you can see, actually, God, there's a lot of interest around the Strong Classic. So let's put another one on. You know, actually, from the strength point of view, Ant Brown runs our strength shows. A great guy, like, you know, really, really good guy. He's got a gym near me here, even though I drove all the way to Scotland to meet Ant Brown, by the way. Very bizarre. But, you know, he's always put on shows in you know, same as any strongman shows, normally gym car parks, normally, you know, little festivals. But actually, we've been chatting about, well, actually, could there be a standalone from a female perspective? Because Ant Brown looks after all the, you know, the Britain's Strongest Women and all that, and the route to the Arnold and all that kind of stuff. But actually, if we put something on that could stand on its own, in its own right, as well as just being a pathway to wherever they want to go. But that would mean booking a big venue, doing everything else. Would we be able to sell it out? Well, I think, you know, if it was tied in with something like Strongman, with like a bodybuilding show. So I'm already now looking for a venue that will support both. Because if you're coming to watch a bodybuilding, it's effectively how the Arnold started, isn't it? You've got the Arnold Classic Strongman, whilst you've also got the bodybuilding. So there is that plan, because if you're a bodybuilder, then you will most likely squat, deadlift, and
absolutely
press.
It's impressive anyway if you're involved in the, you know, any aspect of fitness. You know,
that's it.
Strongman is impressive,
of course, and you know, like the way I train now, well, kind of train now with all that's gone on. So definitely leading up to this lockdown, this year this year, from last summer, when the gym's open and everything, and I joined Ant's gym, I've been training like a strongman. But what I do is I do some high rep stuff towards the end. Whereas a lot of his guys and girls, they'll come and they'll do their stuff, and it's all very technical. They've got their, you know, 1 rep maxes, their doubles at whatever percent, and they all follow these programs, which is great. And I kind of loosely follow that, but I still kind of keep the bodybuilding thing. What I'm saying is, if you're a fan of bodybuilding, then there's a good chance it'll cross over to strongman, which will cross over to powerlifting. So it's kind of a mixture of all. So why the hell not group it all together, you know?
And it's quite common, you know, a lot of people cross over, like, you know, look at Terry Hollands. He did a bodybuilding show a couple of years ago, and, you know, a lot of, you know, former strongmen, you know, slash powerlifters, they get injured and then they go into bodybuilding. So there's a lot of crossovers anyway. So there's already a good relationship between those kind of free sports. I think, you know, like powerlifting, bodybuilding, and strongman, they're all very close. You expect to go to an expo and see, you know, a strongman or powerlifting, you know, that triangle of different sports is quite common. But I think bringing them all together, like, is something no one's doing, and that would absolutely be amazing.
Yeah, so I think really, I know I rambled on about the answer, but that would kind of be it, really. If we can look back and say, do you know what? You know, we've had a decent number of athletes in our shows. You know, I'm not expecting 120 athletes per show or anything like that. I know it's going to take work. I know it's going to take time. I already know there's a lot of people looking at us and thinking, oh, I'll watch them for the first one. I'll watch them for the second show. I'll see how they are, which is fine and understandable.
Yeah.
Before they part with their money. But I genuinely think that if everything goes to plan and everyone gets behind us the way I want it, I would like to think I'm looking back and thinking, yeah, well, how can we just make it bigger and better?
Absolutely.
But for me, mate, you know, I know I'm rambling on, it's about putting back. So, for example, if there's X amount more competitors and X amount more money in the pot, well, how can we make that more attractive for you? What I won't do is go the other way, get bigger, but actually the prize becomes smaller.
Because that's what I was going to ask. A lot of people start these things and they're all about the athletes and they're all about giving back to the sport, and then all of a sudden they get successful, and then all of a sudden it's about changing, like, you know, chasing the pound rather than focusing on the athlete. So yeah, it'd be good to see, you know, you going, you know, the right path in a few years' time as you're growing. You're giving more back to the athletes, as well as obviously taking your piece of the pie as well that rightly you deserve to take.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm completely honest, I'd be content that this is my job moving forward. So after year one, that I can say, or, you know, year two is my probably most realistic goal. But after year 1 or 2, saying, right, this is now my job. Because between the expo, the 8 and 9 bodybuilding shows, the strength event, and the charity stuff, that gives me so many things throughout the year to do on top of the marketing and all the other stuff that we do. You know, I'm not Body Power. I don't have 15, 20 staff. It's just me. So I think we could get to that point by year 1, I'd be over the moon. I always said year 1 is to break even. If I can break even, I'll be over the moon. If I can get a holiday out of it and take the kids to Paris or something, then amazing.
You'll need one after this year.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what. But you know what? It's been exciting, though. It's like it's been worrying, it's been stressful, but it is exciting. And there's so many, you know, it's that happened to me. It has opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. Like there's so many options I've got, you know, down the line. So. But yeah, that's it really. But it's all down to brands like yourselves coming behind us, mate, putting your arm around us, having a crack, taking a punt on us, and hopefully we can pay that back. You know? Absolutely.
Well, I can't wait. You know, not only obviously I've got to stand at the expo, but I will be tanned up and in my trunks at one of the shows as well. I've been kind of planning my
what's your plan there?
So I'm kind of looking at dates at the moment. I would have loved to have done the FitX show, but I think doing the stand down competing is probably too much.
Yeah.
I am the type of person that likes to do too much, but so I'm looking. I might look at maybe throwing my hat in for that Leeds show, or I'll see what the dates are for the Welsh show. But yeah, I will definitely be involved in every way I can to support for sure.
Well, how far out do you reckon you are now? Because it's 11 this Sunday coming.
I could be ready in 11.
Oh yeah, do it then.
Yeah. I've kind of been. It's been difficult this year because I'm kind of in limbo, because obviously for me, you know, starting my new business and my new brand, you know, it's marketable to be in good shape.
Yeah.
So I kind of haven't wanted to get too far out with shape. And I know that, you know, I had a good year last year with competing. I you know, one of the best years I've had in a long time last year. So I'm kind of riding that momentum. So yes, I'm you know, I could be ready in 11 weeks for sure. So
what class are you?
Pardon?
What class are you?
I do classic.
Yeah.
Started as a junior, then kind of dabbled in the under 90s, but because I'm quite tall, I didn't do, you know, I got by because of my shape, so I did okay, but I'd always get beat by shorter, bigger guys. And unfortunately, I'm not genetically blessed with the ability to get huge. So then classic came along. So I've done classic ever since. So yeah, good. But I'm going to let you go, mate, 'cause I know you've got to dash. But thank you very much for being my first guest. It's been an honor to have you on, and I wish you all the best with the FitXpo, and I can't wait for it. I'm counting down the days already, mate, so I'm looking forward to it.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Not a problem, mate. You take care.
Take care, buddy.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, mate.